Along here with our money lines, the next one. It's vertical. It starts at the end of the headline. It's in red. And it goes up towards the mercury finger. That section between the head and the heart line, that's age 20, 30, and about half of 40. And then over the heart line, where it crosses over, that's the other half of 40, 50, 60, 70. So you've got one line. The explanation is there between the sun and the mercury finger. And by the way, that money line's very, very good. One line, that's one income in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. When you hit your 50s, 60s, and 70s, you got four lines, four incomes. Excellent money line. Excellent. Good, solid lines, too. And then your marriage and relationship lines are going to be horizontal across that area. And look there at the end of where the flirt lines are. By the way, you've got very good flirt lines. Nice little tassels on the end of that heart line. And then that section between the flirt lines and the ring around the mercury finger, that is where your marriage and relationship lines will show. You divide that into thirds. Starting at the flirt lines, that first third is about age 20 to 30. The middle third is 40 to 50, and the last third is about 60 to 70. And then, of course, the marriage and relationship lines come in from the outside of the hand horizontally in towards the palm. So the first line, starting down there by the flirt lines, that's probably in your 20s, a relationship line before your marriage line. Now, I think that was a fairly dark line. I hope that isn't the marriage you're in right now. I don't think it is, because the line isn't even long enough. So I'm sure it was kind of a relationship line. You didn't give me too much information. If you had boyfriends before, or if you've been engaged or anything before you married, then that good long line, I'm sure that's your marriage line. Very good. You may hit 40 years married easily. That line was nice and long, and it was a good line too. Okay, underneath that mercury finger now, of course you probably know this is where your marriage and your children lines are going to show. Your children lines come vertical down from that mercury finger, and they start kind of in the middle of the finger, and then you read towards the outside. 4 children, 2 natural. Oh, your miscarriage showed. It was kind of a short line in there. And then I see the one adopted child, too. That's not only is it natural children, but that's children that you have bonded to. But the first thing you need to know is the left hand is the past, right hand is the present and the future, and it does not matter what handed you are. The left is the past, right is the present and the future. Length of your fingers is your talents. Everyone has talents. No one gets cheated. Long fingers mean one thing. Short fingers mean another thing. Nothing's good or bad. That's just the way you're born. The shape of your palm is probably your most important talent. And of course there's square, there's round, there's long. You've got a mixture of kind of an athletic and artistic hand, which is a musician's hand. It's usually a little bit square at the top and kind of rounded at the bottom. Look in the upper right-hand corner of your chart where it says types of fingertips. This is your personality. So you've got all 5 are rounded fingertips. Intuitive, quick, compassionate. Generally I see those in people in the health field, like the doctors and the nurses, the social workers. Okay, back down there to the thumb now. Oh, this is a little rare. You got kind of a short thumb. It's not very, especially on a woman. That's really quite rare. That means you work well with numbers. You're good with math. Let's see, that Jupiter finger. Let me tell you about the names on these fingers. The palmistry is about 2,000 or 3,000 years old, and they had gone through and they named all the fingers. They named the different areas of the hands, and usually they were names of like gods or goddesses, Greek gods or goddesses, or they could have been astrological names. So that index finger is called the Jupiter finger. The middle one's the Saturn finger. The ring finger's the Sun finger, and the little finger's the Mercury finger. And in that section between the heart line and the head line, that's called the Mars area, all across the hand there. And that little area right at the base of the thumb, little fat pad, is the sexual libido. That's what it represents. It's actually called the Mount of Venus. Venus, goddess of love. Tells you about your sexual libido and your health also. And by the way, that's very dehydrated. You want to see a nice little fat pad in there. You don't want to be able to pick the skin up at all. I'm seeing a couple little wrinkles in there. Quite dehydrated. You need to drink more water. Your body can live without food for a long time, but they can't live without water. So you want to keep hydrated enough that you've got a little fat pad right at the base of that thumb. Okay, we're up on that Jupiter finger, that index finger. That is a little bit short. A self-motivated worker, you work very well on your own. You don't have to have a boss or manager looking over your shoulder. Your business finger is good. You want to see a business finger that's as long as the length of your palm. Yours is very good. The ring finger, the sun finger, and the mercury finger, they're in relation to the brain. The right brain is the sun finger, left brain is the mercury finger. And they have the same characteristics too. Sun finger's creative, it's very good, it's very long. Creative, imaginative, inventive. Plus, it's got a nice little line that comes up from the palm. It's called the creative achievement line. And then that little finger is your scholarly finger, or kind of if it's short, it's kind of, if it's long, it's scholarly. Kind of short, hands-on person, active person. Quite a long little finger. It works well with words and letters. It's actually called the writer's finger. Yours was quite long. It says very good on it. Boy, I hope you do some writing. I see that on all writers. I see that long little finger. I hope you use the characteristics of that little finger. Your fate line starts at the base of your palm, goes up to that Saturn finger. If it goes anywhere else, it is not the fate line. Where it starts is important. If it goes right down the middle of the hand, you're kind of a private person. You've got to have some private space. If it starts the outside of the hand, you're sociable and you have to have your friends and family around you all the time. Yours is private. Look over in that right-hand corner where it says fate line. This is your career and your lifestyle. Anytime it breaks, it's a change in one or the other. Sometimes it'll just get a little fork off of it. And I marked the little forks too, because it's a little tiny bit of a change. Not as much as a break. Alright, the changes are at age, and that starts at the bottom of the palm. Age 23, 24, it's circled at 30. That must have been a little break in it. I think it was. 36, and then it crosses over that headline, which is age 40. And then it gets up, and right between 40 and 50, that's a fairly stable area right through there. That line just goes right straight in between those. Then it crosses over that heart line at age 50. So 50 to 52, there's two lines running parallel to each other. That's two jobs. Could be a hobby and a job. It might be family and a job. Or it could be two paying jobs. Then ages 61 to 70, there's two lines again. They're two different lines. Then that fate line veers off there and goes towards the left side of the Saturn finger. See, there's a little asterisk there. Read there in the middle of your page. It says the fate line that goes to the left of the Saturn fingers means the spine has been jammed. So you've done something to that spine. Oh, and things that could happen to that spine if you jumped on trampolines, or if you've done gymnastics, or played contact sports, or had a car accident or a bike accident. Rode horses. Horses are really hard on your spine. I used to set up all the time at the rodeos and do hand reads. And I had the little queen and the princess girls, the queen of the rodeo and the princess girls come in. Had their hands read. Oh my goodness, their spines are a mess. The little queen girl, She says, my back hurts so bad. She says, and I had to get on that darn horse and ride out there in that arena and ride all around and wave my hand and smile and smile. And she said, all the time I'm smiling, I got tears just running down my cheeks because my back hurts so bad. So if you're going to ride a horse, you better have your back straightened up. Now, go back to that little place where it says Fate Line down in the corner. Corner of your page. Let's see, the Fate Line goes to the left of the Saturn finger, and then there's an asterisk, and then the line goes straight up, and it crosses over the line at the base of the Saturn finger, which is 80, and it goes clear up to 92. You're gonna live a long time. Let's see, you'll probably outlive your husband. I didn't pull your husband's chart out and look at it. I probably marked on there that you're probably going to be a widow. Men die 6 to 8 years before women do, because they've got a weaker DNA. Their DNA is an XY DNA, and women's are XX. It's a little stronger DNA. So you can kind of plan on losing a husband and being a widow for a while. There's too many widows running around. So, on your left hand only, your guardian angels are going to show, who your guardian angels are, it's going to show. The line will come up from the bottom of the lifeline. It'll come up, it will touch on the lifeline at the age you were when someone you bonded to has passed away. Your grandmas, grandpas, parents, siblings, aunties, uncles, cousins, old boyfriends, old girlfriends. And then it makes a little line that goes across the two lines. So I just take my pencil and count that down, and that line starts in between the thumb and the Jupiter finger, and it goes down and around the base of that thumb. Starts about age 10. Here's your guardian angels, and this is the age you were when they passed away. Down in the lower left-hand corner of your chart, in purple, age 11, 16, 24 was a really long line. That's why I circled it. In fact, that runs right on the inside of that lifeline. You can see it. It's kind of dark. 32, 36, 42, 44, and 48. Now, on your right hand only, the lines that come up from the bottom of that lifeline, they touch on that line. This is a visit from a guardian angel, a little divine intervention, and sometimes it'll touch right there where you have lost somebody. They've passed away. Sometimes their spirit will come, and when it leaves their body, it goes out and checks on their loved ones before it goes off into the light. And so that's a little visit from the guardian angel. Or if you've been really sick, or if you've been in distress, you'll have a little visit from the guardian angel. So here's your little guardian angel visits at 12, at 14, at 19, 20, 28, 30, 40, and 42. That heart line now is the first major line in your palm. It starts between the Jupiter-Saturn fingers, and it comes down into the palm. It generally makes a nice curve, which yours does. You got a fairly good curve in there. It goes to the outside hand where the flirt lines are. So it's going to tell you two things. It's going to tell you about your emotions by the shape of it and your heart health. So you got a nice curve in there, which means you're very loving and caring. And then your heart health, if you've got any marks on the line, they're little interruptions in your heart health, which you've got a couple of marks there. Look up there in the upper left-hand corner where it says lines of energy, and run your finger down where it says island, I-S-L-A-N-D. You see any of those little ovals, or sometimes they're little triangles that are kind of rounded on the edges or little circles. Any of those that are in the line, they're a break in the energy in that line. And see, you got some, I think there were fairly large little V-shaped things in that line. That's some hard health stress, but you got a problem in your spine too, and that's right where the nerves come off that spine. Okay, jump over there to the sixth sense. It's your intuition. It's fair. When you want to see a nice little fat pad in there, right below that Jupiter finger. And when you get to drinking more water, you're going to see that little pad puff right up. And right now it's still a little bit fair, but there's a couple of wrinkles in it too. Here's how that works. Sixth sense is your intuition. If you got a problem you got to solve, just clear your mind completely, let it go blank for about 30 minutes, and then when you come back to solving the problem, you'll probably have it solved, because by that time your intuition or your sixth sense is kicked in to help you solve the problem. So listen to the little promptings inside your head. They're important. There's a line that's in relation to that headline. It's called the health line. It's right there by the word sociable. See, it starts at the fate line and it goes up towards the mercury finger. That's your internal organs. And it's really stressed. And when you're out of place in that low spine, your internal organs get kind of stressed. That's your colon, your stomach, your liver, your spleen, generally the stuff in your lower part of your body. You want to see one clean line on those where it says health line there, and you got several lines in there. That's why I wrote stressed in there, because some of those internal organs, then it doesn't tell me exactly which one. You're going along the line there, and it breaks right there into that Saturn finger, and it just keeps going along there. That starts in between the thumb and the Jupiter finger. And of course, when you see any of those little islands in there, that's some problems in that headline. Each one of those vertebrae have a nerve that come out of each side. I'm not telling you this because I'm a palm reader. I've got a master's degree in health education, and I was an older student. When I was finishing my college studies, I started reading palmistry books. So, but the palmistry books, everything just fit together because so much of your health shows in your hand. I started to notice how your spine showed on the head and the spine line. Underneath that Jupiter finger, that's going to show your cervical vertebrae, 1 through 7. That goes down to about the base of your neck, not quite to the base of your neck. And then your thoracic vertebrae, that's underneath the Saturn finger. That's where you've got a major problem going on in your spine. And underneath the sun finger, that's your lumbar. Yep, your lumbar, 1 through 5. And underneath the mercury finger is your tailbone, your sacrum and your coccyx. That's where it's going to show on that line. So you've got one little spot there that's a little separated up in that cervical area. It doesn't look to me like you're out right at the very top part of the spine, but you are in that cervical area. And then underneath that Saturn finger, holy cow, what a mess in your spine. You're out of place there through the top part of that thoracic, and that's where that line breaks. And I'm wondering if you had a broken back, or if you've had an operation, it'll break that line. But it's somewhere right there. Where's that at? About in that 1 or 2 or 3 T thoracic area in the spine is where that broken line shows, underneath that Saturn finger. And then you've got a big old island in there. Now, I'm really curious to know if that's a broken back, or if you've had an operation, or what happened to you in that spine. Then underneath that sun finger, if you're out of place in the top part of that spine, that's going to throw you out the opposite way to compensate in that lower spine, so you don't walk around crooked. You're out in that lower spine, all except about that 5L. in the lower part of the thoracic and that lumbar area, you're out of place. Your tailbone looks like it's okay.